This is where the Elmbrook Lane case transforms from a missing persons investigation into something that defies explanation. The phone company confirmed the call happened. The duration, the exact time, the connection, it's all documented in their system. But the originating number belonged to a payphone that no longer existed. The city of Columbus provided timestamped photographs showing the payphone's removal on July 22, 2019, nearly 3 months before David received the call. Investigators traveled to the location. There was nothing there but an empty patch of sidewalk and a small concrete pad where the payphone had once stood. But security cameras from a nearby bank captured something extraordinary at exactly 7:18 p.m. on October 15, 2019. For 8 minutes and 37 seconds, a figure in dark clothing stood on that empty concrete pad, appearing to use a phone that wasn't there. The figure's face was never visible, obscured by shadows and the angle of the camera. But their posture, their gestures, the way they held their hand to their ear, it was unmistakably someone making a phone call. When the call ended, the figure walked away and simply vanished between camera angles. No nearby cameras picked up where they went. Detective Miller had the footage analyzed by the FBI's Technical Forensics Unit. Their conclusion was both simple and terrifying. The footage was authentic. No manipulation, no digital trickery. Someone, or something, had made a call from a non-existent payphone to David Anderson exactly 90 minutes before his entire family disappeared. What I'm about to tell you wasn't supposed to become public knowledge. 3 days after the impossible phone call was discovered, the case was quietly transferred from local jurisdiction to a specialized FBI unit that doesn't officially exist. Department 37, a classification that appears in no public FBI organizational charts. The original investigators were reassigned. The evidence was sealed. The case file was marked with a designation that ensures it will never be subject to Freedom of Information Act requests. But Detective Miller kept copies. And last month, facing retirement and a terminal cancer diagnosis, he decided the public deserved to know the truth. There were other cases, he told me. Similar disappearances. Always families. Always with the same pattern, a mysterious phone call, electronic devices glitching simultaneously, and then nothing. Complete vanishing acts with no trace. He provided me with documents that referenced 7 other cases across the Midwest between 2017 and 2020. Different states, different circumstances, but always the same elements. A phone call from a disconnected or non-existent number. Electronic interference lasting exactly 4 seconds. And entire families disappearing mid-routine, leaving behind scenes that looked like movie sets waiting for actors to return. The most disturbing case occurred in Michigan just 6 months after Elmbrook Lane. The Patterson family, 2 parents, 3 kids vanished during a backyard barbecue. Neighbors heard the children laughing 1 minute, then complete silence. The grill was still hot. The burgers were still cooking. The phone call that preceded their disappearance came from inside their own house, from a landline that had been disconnected for over a year. But the story doesn't end with disappearances. On March 3, 2022, exactly 869 days after the Andersons vanished, something impossible happened. Emily Anderson, now age 10, walked into the Fairfield County Sheriff's Department, alone, unharmed, wearing the same clothes she disappeared in. But they were clean, pressed, and fit her perfectly despite 2.5 years of missing childhood growth. She had no memory of where she'd been, no memory of her family, no memory of her life before that moment. But she knew her name, her address, and she kept repeating one phrase: "The call wasn't for Daddy, the call was for us." Medical examinations revealed something that shouldn't be possible. Emily had aged exactly 47 hours since her disappearance. Her hair had grown 47 hours worth. Her fingernails had grown 47 hours worth. Cellular aging tests suggested that while 869 days had passed in our world, Emily had experienced less than 2 days. She was placed in protective custody while authorities tried to understand what had happened to her. But 3 days later, Emily Anderson disappeared again. This time from a secure federal facility with guards, cameras, and multiple layers of security. The only evidence of her second vanishing was a security camera malfunction that lasted exactly 4 seconds at 9:17 p.m. Today, the house at 1247 Elmbrook Lane sits empty. It's been sold 3 times since 2019, but no family has lived there for more than a few weeks. Residents report phone calls in the middle of the night from disconnected numbers. Electronic devices malfunction for exactly 4 seconds at random times. Mrs. Gable still lives next door. She refuses to talk about what she saw that day, but neighbors say she stands at her window every evening at 9:17 p.m., watching the Anderson house. The official story remains that the Anderson family disappeared and their whereabouts are unknown. The FBI closed the case in 2021, citing lack of evidence and leads. But Department 37 is still active, still investigating, still tracking families that disappear after receiving calls that shouldn't exist. And if Detective Miller is right, if his documents are authentic, then somewhere out there, David, Sarah, and Jacob Anderson are still alive, still experiencing their own version of time in a place that exists somewhere between the phone call and the silence. The question that haunts investigators isn't just what happened to the Anderson family. It's this. In a world where families can vanish between dinner and bedtime, where calls come from phones that don't exist, where children return unchanged from years of absence, how do we know it won't happen to us? The next time your phone rings from a number you don't recognize, remember the Andersons, and maybe don't answer.